The Prince of London is here. What's popping, corn? Now, this is going to be my first ever podcast for the B.B Podcast. Just an intro. I can't see the speakers. I can't see the audio on the microphone. It only shows the to flip the camera. But yeah, for this I'm not sure. So this will be on it's Android. This will is the audio alright? Is everything alright on here? Thank you. So if you guys didn't know, this is going to be a podcast that I'll be putting up on YouTube. So, this goes out on YouTube on Saturday, and this is a live stream kind of thing. Like if anyone on YouTube wants to pop on and talk, the way to find me is on Periscope. It's at Prince_Smith8. Now, this basically, this podcast is just it's gonna be a way to, just have a chat and just have fun, have, everyone together, get everyone, just everyone in the, yep, that's it. It's just a way to get everyone together to just create a better place, and to have love and respect, and just be in harmony in just one simple place. And there's this is going to be a journey. It's a roller coaster. It's a new thing for me. It's never done this, never gone live, never I've always wanted to to kind of do a podcast, or like not even a podcast. I didn't even think of doing a podcast until the end of last year. But there's so many things that I've wanted to do, and there are projects coming up that I'll be doing, and it's all just I kind of wanted to do it when I was older, like when I felt like I was stable, when I felt like I had just stable, and like the place where I can go off and do my own thing. But if life has taught me one thing, it's life is a gift, and there's no time better than the present. So I'll just sorry if it's a bit awkward or anything. Exactly. Thank you, Nicole. Anything you want to do, if you put your mind to it, it could occur. Now, for this one, I think this is going to be like probably just a quick podcast. there's something planned for next week. I'm not going to go into detail right now about it. Just just wait and see about it. I'm thinking of doing every 10 o'clock. This is British time, GMT. 10 o'clock at night. I'm thinking of doing this podcast at every Thursday, and then it would come out on YouTube on Saturday. GMT is basically just a British time. It's just a way that it's a time zone. So, like, places such as, like, if you're in America, you're able to convert it. And I think with this podcast, I'm just gonna introduce myself and answer questions and just have a friendly chat. It's probably gonna be very short. Like, not sure how long it's gonna be, but yeah. I've got some questions that I've picked up upon from some people. At the end, I'll be giving shout outs as well. That there's not really gonna be a true thing to this. There will be themes. I'm trying to make sure there's themes every single week, and there'll be like. This it's very new to me. Like, if I'm keeping pausing or like just running out of things to say, it's only because it's it's a journey. It's a roller coaster. It's the one thing I've learned is if you're perfect at the start, then you're never going to be able to, or it's going to be difficult to better yourself. It's always good to start, even like if you want to be like a basketball player or a rapper, or let's say rapping, because that's something you could just send out. If you want to be a rapper, but you don't want to you don't want to send out your music until you for sure you're there, I feel just send it out. Just do it. Because if you go out, this is one thing I've learned from Eminem. He did My Name Is, and everyone just expects him to go back to that, to do that again. And that was one of his first songs that he's done. But so he's came out kind of being perfect. And nowadays everyone wants him to get back to that, but he can't better himself if he's already the best in some sense, and that's difficult for some people to do. It's extremely difficult. It's not easy. It is difficult to better yourself, but it's much more difficult when you're not. It's much more difficult when you're already on top of the ladder. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of pressure. If you're already the best, it's a lot of pressure. If you're not the best yet, you have time. You're able to work yourself up to being the best, and everyone's not looking at you. Everyone doesn't care because you're only starting out. So they can understand. So this segue, but Saturday it's gonna I don't actually intend this to happen. So my thoughts was from the start of this year, I had this project in mind, and my idea was I was going to do a podcast, and it's not going to be like any other podcast. This is going to be completely different, because I'm thinking of doing a podcast where I would have guests on, just have fun, have a laugh. It would just be, I'll, speak on topics, just basically, it's always going to be a friendly chat. It might get serious at times, there might be some things we, speak about that might be offensive or might be, just over the top, but it's all in the name of love. Now, as I say that it's unique. It's unique in the sense of a lot of interviews. There's an agenda in those interviews, and there's an agenda in a lot of podcasts where they're trying to put out their own point and say that they're right. I always debate. That's my one thing. I'm always debating, always asking questions, always fighting back. But it's not to say that I'm right. It's to say that I want to learn. So if someone was to tell me one thing, I would constantly say why, or I would constantly fight back at that. And it's not to say that, I'm right. It's to say I want to learn. I want to understand why you think that. I want to understand, just many aspects. I'm still learning. I've always been learning. And, this is one way to learn, to just go out and do new things. And, yeah, so I was thinking with with interviews, if I was to interview anyone, it wouldn't be a place where at times, and I've got something coming up very soon, but at times I'm thinking of when I do get interviews on a lot of podcasts and a lot of interviews, they have an agenda. It's always a thing of where they would have a topic and they would speak about that topic, but it's either to make the guest look good or to look bad. It's never in between. Mine is just going to be, they are going to lead the podcast. The audience, the viewers, you guys are going to lead the podcast. I'm just here to put my views, not views, but just to put what I want to say across, in the sense of just to learn. So if I say something that might seem, if you want to debate about it, that's totally, you're in your rights to do that, and I encourage that, because I want to learn. If nobody debates me, then I'm not going to learn anything, and I'm here to learn, and maybe some of you guys could learn something from me. It's all, the world is about learning. So if I was to have a guest on, it would just be a friendly chat. It's either they would have, they want to put a point across, or something, they want something to be done, or it would be, just a friendly chat. It would start from one thing, and it would just slip into anything that they want it to be. Now, the timing of this podcast, I was thinking, I need a time, a set date of when the podcast is going to be out. And I was thinking about it, and I just came up with, I will do that. Yeah, thank you, Nicole. So, to put a background on the, I believe there will be, if everything goes to plan, there will be a background on the YouTube channel. So my YouTube channel is out, and But for the live streams, I will try and find some. I will try and do that as well. Now the dating, I just basically thought there needs to be something that, like, someday that is special. And it was coming up to April, and like I thought of April because that was going to be the first half term. So it was going to be not half term, but it was going to be like the first holiday that I have. And I felt doing the podcast in the holiday, trying to set everything up in the holiday, it would just give me time, because most of the time I'm in college. So right now I'm still doing college work. I'm doing a lot of college work. But at least I have that breather. I also believe that like I needed to have a special date for this, and I thought of Easter. So it's if I'm like, I hope I'm right, but on Friday, I believe it's Good Friday, and on Sunday is Easter Sunday. And I wanted to put something in the middle, and my first thought was, alright, let's make our own day. Let's make the podcast a day. So I put Saturday because it's in the middle between those two. Now, I didn't actually think about it. I was just thinking, oh, there's Good Friday, then there's a date when this podcast debuted, and then there's Easter Sunday. Now, I didn't realize it's 420. So, it definitely wasn't to be intended. It wasn't to, encourage weed or anything like. And to be honest, marijuana, weed, my thoughts on that, I believe, it should be legalized. It should definitely be legalized, only for the fact of, I believe it doesn't do harm. If it's just plain marijuana, just plain on its own, I don't believe it would do any harm. I believe it would just, just be cool. It would just, it would get people off doing other things, other drugs. And people say it could be a gateway drug, but the same goes for, cigarettes. I believe cigarettes is more harmful, yet we still sell that, and that's still, it's still sold in shops, and it's a social thing to smoke cigarettes. Now, if we was to legalize weed in the UK, I believe it would be a good thing for the fact of it wouldn't, you wouldn't have to go to drug dealers or anything like that. It wouldn't be anything dodgy. It would be in a shop, and it would be, I forgot what the word is, but it would be managed to the point where you would know it's safe. So that's just my quick thoughts on that. I was on someone's live when this was a few weeks ago, I think, and they were talking about affirmative action, and they was it was a Caucasian male, and he was saying how it was a racist thing, because it's basically saying that black people are able to, it's basically saying that the race war isn't over and all that, and just saying that black people have been trying to say that they were victims in some sense. And I can believe why someone would think that, but I believe from our ancestors has a lot in what we say, and this isn't to it's not to make an offense, to offend anyone. It's just my own beliefs. You can correct me if you want to. It's absolutely fine. But in my thoughts, I believe that it's a strange thing. It's very difficult to talk about, but in a sense of our ancestors, where it in some case affects us to this day. Even if you don't know it, it does. Because the opportunities that you get is because of your ancestors. Now, I believe the affirmative action just helps that, just kind of levels up the not the battlefield, but levels it up in some case. And in my thoughts, it's just an example would be where, because black people had to be slaves, it made it extremely difficult for them to get opportunities. And that carries on to, it doesn't just end, it doesn't, once slavery was abolished, it didn't just end racism. Like, racism was still there. So there was still a lot of lack of opportunities that black people could get. And same goes for, other minorities. Now, by being a minority, it just makes it more likely to not have those opportunities, to not get those kind of opportunities to be successful. And I feel that because white people didn't have to go through that, and this isn't to offend anyone, it's just my thoughts. And, I love all people. This isn't, I love all people. But because the history of Caucasian people didn't go through those kind of step backs, they were able to cruise through life. So most of them were already at the time was successful. So they were able to teach their kids to be successful, and to what to do to be successful, and what to do to hang on to being successful. And at times it becomes so natural that it would make it very difficult to even not be successful, in the sense of, if you had £1 billion or $1 billion and you were holding on to that money, if you knew how to spend that money and you were used to just having that kind of money, it might make you more likely to hang on to it. But if you won the lottery or something like that, it will be less likely for you to hang on to it, because you wouldn't know how to use it. Now, I feel that's the same how going back to it's live. So that goes back to races, in the sense where the minorities are they're less likely to, if they themselves don't know how to be successful, it would be very unlikely for them to teach their children to become successful. Now, because of this, I feel that in a rare case, such as Will Smith. He came from being like very poor, and he grew up into a sense where when he had kids, his kids were basically royalty before they were even born. Like, they're, very popular, they're extremely famous, they got so much money, so they don't have to worry about that. But that's a very rare occasion, because he went from nothing to something. Now, that's going to keep on going down the line, but in most occasions, if you're from nothing, it's going to be very difficult because you're not taught how to be something, which means that you wouldn't know how to be something, and you wouldn't be able to teach your kids to be something. Now, the same goes for the prince, or for a queen, or for a princess, or for a king. If an example of a prince in a royal family, they are not prince because of their mother or father. They're not prince because of their grandmother or grandfather. They are prince because of the person that chose to take over that land. An example would be for Prince Harry. He's not prince because his mum's the queen. Because his mum's the queen, because of the ancestors. The queen didn't just become queen. So the same with the prince didn't just become prince. It was down in a very long line. And it was because William I basically just took over the land and made a royal family. So I feel that's how it works. No worries. Thank you for coming and viewing it. Thank you. Now, I feel that, going back to affirmative action, I feel because of those lack of opportunities, it just opens the gate for opportunities to arise for people with minorities. Sorry if I'm, rambling or, like going off tangent or, this is, I promise you it's going to get better. It's, it's going to be a better thing. It's just quite new. The time here is 10:30. Reason for that is because I felt that it would be more accessible for people around the world to join in the scope. To be honest, at this moment of time, there's nobody in. Which, it is a new thing. It's a new thing. I did try and contact as many people as possible. But as life is, sorry, as life is, but, I will make this something. This will become something. I promise you. I'm not gonna give up just because not many people is in here. I'm not gonna give up because, it's something new I'm learning, but I'm going to keep at it because I enjoy it. It's fun. It gives me something to do. You never know if I keep at it. Might open some doors for me. This is part of being successful. Now, these days, you can be taught to be successful if you're very low in the stages. If you're extremely poor, you can still be taught to be successful because these days it's very, to be successful, it changes every single time. It does. It changes to be successful, which is one way of being successful, to know how how the world changes and to keep up with the world. Another way of reason how it's easier to be successful these days is because more people are willing to give open hands and open arms, and are willing to give information and things such as a podcast. It opens that barrier where people are able to you're able to send your message across to even more people these days. It's it's the internet. Now at this point, what I was planning to do was to get in call-ins, because Periscope has this new audio thing where they people are able to call in. Now, at this very moment of time, as expected, nobody's in. But hopefully that will change next week or so. Now, I did get questions from people, friends from before this, so I'm gonna crack on with the questions. Now, this goes from a Periscope user, one of my good friends, awesome photographer. Her username is Gingerbred, Gingerbred. Now, first question is, what's your favourite restaurant? If I ever speak to you, or if you know me at all, or if I just by talking to you, McDonald's is somehow gonna get its entrance in there. That's my favourite restaurant. I love it so much. McDonald's, I'm loving it. What's your favourite meal from there? My favourite meal, well, I got this, off heart. Like, I know this. Whenever I go in there, I order the same thing all the time. A McChicken sandwich meal, large, with water and sweet and sour sauce. It's the best. It's so simple, but so amazing. If there was no McDonald's, what would you do? I'll create mine. What's your favourite video game? Wow. So me and her, we have this we have this argument about, she's got an Xbox and I've got a PS4. I'm on the PlayStation side. And guys, tell her to get a PS4 because it's going to be much more easier. PS4 is definitely better. Now, a problem I had with I have a my first ever console I got was a PS2. No, it was a PS1, and then I got a PS2, and the PS1 I got it like a few months or like a year before my PS2. Then I got a PS3, but the PS3 broke, so I had to get a new console. So now the new console, what I got was, I was like, let me switch things up. Let me try and see how the Xbox is doing. Now I got the Xbox 360. Major problem from the start. They give you a live gold. This is a big no-no. You had to, the PS3. I don't know why the PS4 went on to like Xbox side, but PS3 online was free. Went on to Xbox, you had to pay. but they give you this free membership. I put in the membership, didn't work. Went back to the shop where I got the Xbox from and said, look, the membership's not working. Could I, switch the codes? This is what they said. Bring in the whole box with the Xbox and with everything in it just for that paper. I had to bring in that whole box just to switch the codes. And that was something I was not going to do. I was not going to waste my time doing that. So I was like, okay, it's not working, alright. Then I got, I believe I got I got a USB. Oh no, I got not a membership, but I got one of those currencies. I forgot what it's called. And I put it on. I told the shop. I said to the shop, "Is this gonna work?" And they said yes. And I said, "No, but seriously, is it going to work?" They said yeah. I said no. Is it going to work? And they said yes. So I said, okay. If it doesn't work, can I bring it back? And they said yes. So I said, alright, okay, good. So I walked home with the Xbox, with the currency, put it in, obviously didn't work. So I went back to the shop, and the shop said, no, they're not going to give me my money back. They're not going to change it or anything. This made me mad because I saved up for it. I saved up to buy that currency, and they just stole my money like that. But I was like, cool, okay, that's good. Alright, I'm gonna leave it. Then I got the GTA 5. Now the GTA 5, I don't know why, but the Xbox has such a lack of memory storage. It is disgusting of how low it is. It's about like 1 gigabyte or something like that. It's that bad. So I got the GTA 5, popped it in, said that I need more gigabytes, I need more storage, deleted everything off my Xbox, said I still need more data, more memory. So I went to get a memory stick. For some reason, put my memory stick in there. It took all of the gigabytes from from my memory stick and blanked it out. And the GTA still didn't work. Then I had to buy a new one, and that somehow worked. But the fact that I have to go out to spend all this amount of money and then get robbed every single time. So, the fan broke of the Xbox, so that was a failure. So I got, once the PS4 came out, I was like, yep, I'm getting that PS4. I'm going straight for that PS4. Got the PS4. It's perfect. It's the best. You do have to pay for online, but it's easier. I didn't get robbed. The amount of times that I go out, and I've only done it twice, but when going for trying to get those cards to put onto the onto the PlayStation, how worried I am to do it, but it works. It works. It's not that bad. But my favorite game, it would have to be. To be honest, I'm one of those guys where I don't even really play the PlayStation. I love it so much. Wherever, like, I play demos and all that, because not many games has. If you see like the stack of games that I have for PlayStation 2, it fills up my whole room. If I was to put it on my walls like a wallpaper, it would fill up the whole room. That's how much I have of that. And there's still many more PlayStation games out in the world that I haven't bought. But with PlayStation, it's the same with PlayStation 3. They didn't make many games. And PlayStation 4 hasn't made many games as well. So, I just, and it's very expensive, the games to get. So I'm not gonna, just buy random games and play it. So I just play like the demos, and I'm watching YouTube mostly on it. What's your favourite thing to do outside? My favourite thing to do outside would be to ride bikes. It's so amazing to ride bikes. Not only you're getting exercise, but because I'm that kind of guy. So with me, I don't like to do those boring cliche things, like to go out on a run, or to write down my feelings, or I'm not one of those guys that likes to do that, but I would do it if it's fun. So riding a bike, I find that as fun because, it's benefiting my health, but at the same time, I'm seeing things that I don't usually see. Like I'm just riding around the whole of London. I'm seeing so many things out there. I'm having so much fun. The breeze is everywhere that, I'm able to stop at any time I like. I'm able to also push myself on the bike. I'm able to like just be free and be myself, and take my mind off things. What's up, Billy? Alright, so this is a shout out to Jordan's design blog. This is on Instagram. It's Jordan's GORDANS_design_blog. Now, he made all of my logos, all of everything that all my logos, my banners, everything. He created all of it. So much respect for him, and it was awesome to work with him. He's so creative. I would say, oh, could I get this? Can I get this done? Can I get this? Or different things, and he did it. He just did it perfectly, and I respect him so much for that. His question was, what's your favourite place to go, and do you go anywhere where you feel a certain way? Now, my favourite place to go, bed, probably. This bed, college, and college. It's not because of it's not because I'm doing work, which it's work is good and all that, but it's because I get to see all my friends. I just get to hang around and just have a laugh and all that. McDonald's, because love McDonald's. Is there anywhere else? The River Thames. I love going to the river to see the River Thames. Oh, earlier I said what's my favourite thing, but it's McChicken sandwich meal, large, with water and sweet and sour sauce. Yeah, just those places, and the reason why it's, they're all awesome. And do I go anywhere where I feel a certain way? I mean, there's some areas in London where it's sketchy, but that's the majority of areas in London. You just got to get used to it, and just got to know, you just got to know your surroundings and know the way you act, and no harm would go to you if you know what you're doing. And I'm not saying that's all the time, because anything can happen, but just it's better to stay safe. But places where I feel, I mean, college, it really, at times it could be depressing, but whenever I'm around my friends, it's like the best thing ever, because it's so much love, and it's just the amount of love that I get from my friends. It's incredible. What are your life goals? So my life goals is literally to make a better world. It's to create a better future for the future kids. Now, I understand that I'm not going to be able to change people's mind. It would be very difficult to do that, which is why I don't target myself to adults or, to old people. I target myself more to the youth, because I know that the youth is, they're the future. It's not our, it's my world at the moment. So if I see something wrong about it, I'm going to do something about it. I'm not just going to complain about it. And I don't want the kids to come into a world, to be brought in a world of destruction of what we left behind, because that's why I feel the generation before me has done. They left behind the destruction, and the generation before them left behind the destruction, and it just keeps on getting worse. It's never really been stopped, and it's difficult to change minds, but it's easy to mold a mind. And to mold a mind, the youth, when you're young, that's where you can mold a mind. And I don't want to make robots, I want people to be whoever they want to be. But at the same time, I want the youth to keep in mind that as being whatever they want to be, they can do whatever they want to do, as long as it doesn't intentionally hurt people. And it's in my mind, it's such a boring world. It is such a boring world and a boring life if you're not living your life. Yeah, you might be living, but you might as well, be dead if you're not living your life. So what I mean about that is the fact of, if you do things that you're not happy about, if you're doing things that you don't like and you don't love, understandable, there's going to be times where you have to do that, such as like school. If you don't like school, it's something you've got to do. Work, that's something you have to do, but that's in order to do things that does make you happy. So yeah, if you're doing things just for the sake of doing it because of other people, it's such a boring life. This is your world, make it your world. You don't go on to, I doubt people go on to Grand Theft Auto, play GTA, and they're being very nice, and they're doing things as like driving in, I don't know, I doubt they're driving in a normal speed limit, you know. No, they're going reckless and they're just going as fast as they can. But that's because it's their world. Now, I'm not telling people to drive recklessly. I'm not telling people to do whatever they want if it inflicts harm to themselves or to others. All I'm saying is that I'm just trying to get the point across that life it's your world. If you don't like something in your world, change it. Now, I want to, I really want people to know that, because it's so easy to do things that for other people, but it's difficult, but it's so boring, and it would just make you so bored and depressed. Now, I understand there's times where you've got to do things for other people. You got to work. You got to work to make a living, to survive in the world. You've got to go to school to get your education, but that might be boring. And at times, from my experience, it's, I wasn't really taught much. I wasn't, a lot of things went on, and just, that at this very moment I'm not gonna talk about, just could it just go on a bit too long. But yeah, it's just, if I'm not doing, this is something that I want to do. I want to do a podcast. I want to help people out. I want to make a better future. I want to, to do things. These are the things that I want to do to better myself and to make myself happy. And I'm going to do it. Because if I don't do it, I'm going to be depressed. And what's the point of being depressed? What's the point of not living? I want to live my life, so I'm going to live my life. I was born to live my life. There's only one of me, so I'm going to do what I want to do. Another point that I wanted to get across. So if you're working, or if, understandable, I understand that you got to work for them, but at the same time, do what makes you happy. So if you got to work, try and find a job that makes you happy, that fits the sector of what you want to do. So if you want to become a singer when you're older, or you just want to have singing as a career, but you need money, try and work in the music industry. Don't, just settle for any job. Do something that at the same time you'll be learning in something that you love doing, and you'll be doing what you love doing, but just not actually being able to fully get onto it. If you're at school, make school fun. Do a lot of people did this, where they did courses. When I left secondary, they did courses in college because their friends were doing it. I left all of them and did what I wanted to do, which was health and social care, because I wanted to help people, and I felt that there was a lot for me to learn. And you have a choice. Don't worry about what people think of you. Don't care about what people think. If they love you, they love you. That's all you should care about. If they hate you, well, it's unnecessary hate. If it's necessary hate, then try and do something that would try and change their mind. But don't bend yourself backwards. Don't break yourself just to just to make someone else happy. Do stuff that makes you happy. Now, me being happy, if you being happy, is something that it's to make others happy, then do that. Be an entertainer. Do what you want to do. Me to me, being happy is when I see a smile on someone's face. That makes me happy because I feel like I had that role. I looked, I did something and they smiled, and I did something to make them have a happy life. I had a part in that. Do something that makes you happy. Don't do anything for others. Just do you. What do you find interesting to do? Learn. And I'm not saying learning as, like picking up the books and like going through the books and learning. I mean like learning just in life. You learn something new every day. I'll watch the news, or I would watch TV programs, or I'll just study people, or I'll study certain things. I'm just learning. Everything that I do is to learn. And I love it because it betters me and it helps me to make, it helps me to teach others. That's one thing I love doing. I find that so interesting. There's so many things in the world that's interesting, and it's amazing what you do when you study. When you study something that you want to study. Not what you're told to study, but what you want to study. Now here's another one. Another question from Kendall. One of my best friends. So amazing that, he welcomes me with open arms all the time, always there for me. Just absolutely amazing. He's so hilarious. Whenever I want to smile, like, even if I don't want to smile, whenever I'm talking to him, always smiling. Now his Twitter and Instagram is I'm Kendall Cat at I am KENDELKAT. Now his question is, who's your biggest celebrity influences? Now my biggest celebrity influences has to be... Now I've got a lot, but I'll go through a few of them, and I'll say why. Michael Jackson. Now I know there's a lot of controversy behind that, but it's like he helped me to do things. There were so many things that I thought of doing, but he encouraged me just by his music and the way he was, just encouraged me to actually go out and do it. His songs was, so inspiring. There's a lot of people that, like, they love to talk about, like on songs like drugs, sex and crime and all this, things that don't matter in the world, but he spoke about things that matter. But by me wanting to better this world, it was refreshing to know that there was someone on this earth that, who wanted to better the world, and he became as big as he was. It shows that evil doesn't always win. Love can win. Hi Lanie, sorry, we're just doing a podcast here. So this is Michael Jackson, another controversial figure, XXXTentacion. Look how he showed me that he kicked off, a new thing. Like, he sparked something in me, which was, I've always felt alone. Like, I've always felt alone, and I felt like I didn't fit in at all. And I'm not gonna, like, with these influencers, I'm not gonna go in too much detail about what they've done for me, but I might do some other podcast. But he was amazing. Like, I felt so alone, and so many people would, like, there's so many things going on, like these cliches of, like, things such as people saying, like, oh, I want to kill myself because of because I'm getting bullied, or I want to kill myself because of, it was all these kind of things, just very cliche things, and that does happen a lot. It does. And, if you are going through that, talk to someone. Talk to someone. You can talk to me if you want to. Like, I'm not a professional, so I would advise you to talk to a professional, but I'm always here to talk to if you ever need someone, or even just want someone to talk to. I'm always here. It's one of what I'm here for. It's for you to talk to. It was all these cliches, and I never fit with that. Like, I never thought to myself, oh, I'm going to kill myself because of this or that, this and that. It was more of the fact of, like, thinking, oh, like, I just want to kill myself because of, like, this, just a lot of things, like, piling on, and just things that a lot of people didn't understand. I'm not going to go into too much detail right now, but, it was a thing. But then it was the same thing of, like, oh, well, I'm not going to kill myself, only for the fact of, like, I hate pain. I hate physical and mental pain. I hate all kinds of pain, so there's no way I can kill myself. And I was just depressed a lot of times. He was one person that I related to the most, because he was not a cliche. He was not what I kept, because there was a lot of things on TV and all that, and, like, people saying, like, we can help you if you got this or that, and it was just something where it was like, well, I don't have that. I'm not like that at all. And a lot of people tried to help, but it just didn't help out, Sorry if, like, what I'm saying is it's not clear, or, like, anything, but basically, he was that one person that I related to, where I felt that I couldn't relate to anyone in this world. And the things he did was absolutely amazing. His music really spoke to me. I've been watching his interviews. They really speak to me, and it's everything that I believe in. He's the one person that taught me that life is a gift. There's no time better than a present. So Michael Jackson helped me to know that you can do it, and you can be big and all that. But I just thought to myself, I give it time until I'm a bit older, until I'm given those kind of opportunities. But X basically told me that, no, do it now. What's the point of waiting until you're older? What's the point of, like, an example of, like, this audio might be very terrible. I'm not sure right now, but I'm assuming it is, because it's from Audacity. It's literally just a 50 quid microphone on Audacity. Now, I could have been like, no, I'm gonna wait until, like, I'm big, and, like, I do certain things that will make me big and famous, and then I go on to radio shows and I do this, and that's what I wanted to do. But doing this right now, it's better, because I could look back at myself and then be like, oh, well, it's that thing of, like, X basically taught me in a sense of where you could see how big he was, and how big, you could see how big he was, but he was still being authentic. He still did his best to stay authentic, and that's what I want to do. So yeah, I might have, bad quality. I might, it's the first time me doing a podcast. There might be a lot of things wrong about this first ever podcast, but at least I'm being authentic. That's the one thing that I just strive for in life. And I strive to have friends as well around me who are authentic as well. There's been many more celebrity influences, which I will go through as the times come up. It's been about an hour now, so I'm just gonna go on to the shout outs. So, okay. On Periscope, you can go and, go and follow Gingerbred. Absolutely amazing, funny, just best person to speak to. Absolutely the best person to speak to. She is a lot of fun, and life is awesome with her. Instagram, you could follow, if you could please follow Jordan's design blog. Absolutely amazing. Made all of my logos, everything, the banners and everything. Just it's been a dream to work with them, and it's absolutely, he did so much for me. He just helped my life out so much, and I thank him so much. He is the GOAT. Also on Periscope, you could follow one of my good friends, Pheebs. Absolutely funny, hilarious, awesome, down to earth. So, username, Pheebs. Pheebs. Just follow her. Trust me, you're gonna have so much fun talking to her. My good friend from college, Jay. Life has literally been 1,000 times better with Jay in it. He is so amazing. He's always there for me. Always there for me. And the same, I'm always there for him. He is an absolutely amazing artist. His skills are amazing. Jay is just number one. So, follow him on Instagram, on Jsnmusic. Mackenzie, absolutely, I love her so much. She is the best person to speak to. She's also always there for me. Her smile is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. She would do anything to make sure you're having a good, awesome day and that you're happy, no matter who you are. She's an awesome dancer. She dances all the time on Scope, and it's amazing. I love her so much. So go and follow her on Periscope, macdancer, macdancer. Also follow her on Instagram, macdancer3, Snapchat, macdancer 121404. Now, Lanie, absolutely amazing. She's very welcoming. She was actually on here on this live stream just a minute ago. Love her so much. She is hilarious, like absolutely hilarious. She's Irish, so her accent is lovely. She's just her charisma, her personality is so bubbly. You could never be, angry or mad around her. You could never be negative around her. She just brings out the positive side in everyone because of how she is. She's amazing. Follow her on Periscope, LanieRich, LanieRich. Dora, absolutely amazing, one of my good friends. She's down to earth. She's cool. She's unique. She's very unique, but she's very awesome. She's the best. Her Instagram is sad.dora, sorry. Now there's an anime account. If you guys love anime, please go onto Instagram and type in SENZAWAISWAIFU for LAIFU. If you want to find the most amazing anime memes, please go in there. Now, this is the last shout out. This goes to one of the most amazing person I know. I talk to her like every morning. She's hilarious. She's absolutely gorgeous. She's just down to earth as well. I love down to earth people. She doesn't know who Adam 22 is, which is a shocker to me. But yeah, please go and add her on Snapchat. She has a premium on Snapchat. So if you want to go and talk to her on Snapchat, DM her for a premium, and she'll be able to talk to you about the prices and everything like that. But she's absolutely lovely. Her Snapchat is you're all dumb all together, and her name is Kirstyn Riley. And please hit her up on Snapchat and tell her that I sent you guys. Now, I guess we're done here. That's end of the podcast. Now, sorry if this was a terrible podcast, absolutely terrible. But I tried, it's gonna get better from here, I'm still learning. Guys, hit me up in the description down below. On YouTube, please subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Sorry, hear this from every single YouTuber. Really wanted to do this. Yeah, leave a comment. go and just asking me questions. Just asking me questions. Ask me what you would like, what you would like to me to improve on, what you would like me to talk about, anything like that. And stay safe, stay awesome. Talk to you later.